welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis here at the Prepared Homestead, and boy is it hot, sultry, sweaty, and bugs everywhere today. Doing one of those, sorry, a little out of breath because I've been doing this for a while now, all the way around the place. Doing one of those fun jobs here on the homestead. Running T-posts and getting ready to put some woven wire up. Yep. Hold on, let me adjust this camera. For those of you that have not done this kind of work, I assure you, it'll be one of the harder things you've ever done. Just physical. But anyways, it's one of those necessary jobs here on a homestead to make it work right, to make it successful, and most of all, to make it self-sufficient. And that's really our goal here. Man, I should have picked a different spot. I'm just getting swarmed right now. I'm so sweaty. But that's one of our big goals here, is to be self-sufficient as much as possible. Putting this fence up, a little tip. Not everybody does it, but I do it. I don't know if you can see it so well on the camera lifted up here. This is some of that neon twine like they use in concrete work and stuff, and I run it from corner post to corner post, and it makes it a lot easier when driving T-post to keep them all in line, and that way all I have to do is just drive one, step off the footage to the next one, and I know where I need to drive it because I got this twine good and tight between corner posts. And what you're seeing there, those two, I know it looks weird, but this big pasture, it comes down to like almost a triangular shape. And I couldn't, so I ended up, instead of just coming down to a point, I've got a short span there of two corners, so it comes down and then like this. I don't know if you guys can kind of figure that out. So if you look at it the way I'm sure what you're seeing, it probably doesn't look like a very big pasture, but it opens way up over there. This is just one little awkward shaped corner of it. Anyways, not really what I wanted to talk about, but hey, this is one of those things that many of you folks do from time to time to keep your place going and successful. What I do want to talk about today, though, is this strange phenomenon that is happening across America. I heard about it for a while and thought it may have just been something going on in the big cities because of all the craziness that was happening. But now it's happening here in our local area, and I've been talking with people online, and it looks to be that it's happening virtually everywhere. And if it hasn't happened in your area, please let me know. But it's this strange coin and cash shortage, right? Way back, actually last year, I was talking about how that I thought that was going to be one of those things that they would push, is a cashless society. And then as soon as this pandemic rolled around, that was one of the first things I started telling people is, you watch and see, this is going to be a push to have a cashless society because, money is dirty and it transfers, the virus, and we got to get rid of money, so we got to go all digital. And some people say it's, because of this and that, whether it's virus related or other related, they're just not able to keep up on the demand of production of coin and production of currency. And I guess there could be some legitimate arguments there to be made, and maybe that's what honestly is just going on. But I do believe that we are starting to see a very obvious push towards cashless society, towards all digital. And some people might look at that, especially people that use very little cash, especially your young people and people that are just really into technology and stuff, the latest, greatest technology. A lot of them don't really use cash at all, don't carry currency. It's just not something they use. So it may not be that big of a deal for a push for them to go to that point of not having any currency. But I think it's definitely something that we should be cautious of and be aware of what could be some motives behind this push to have a cashless society. Before I get any further, though, I want to take a little moment to thank you for stopping in and watching. I encourage you to continue watching the show if it's at all interesting. But also like the show, subscribe to the channel, share it along. Thank you for doing that. For those of you, my subscribers, it just keeps going up, and we'll be hitting 10,000 subscribers here soon. And while that may be small for many channels, it's very surprising for me that not been quite 2 years now, and hitting 10,000 subscribers is a big deal. So I want to thank you. All right, on to the cashless society. We're seeing it all over. Signs on shops saying, there's a coin shortage, please have exact change, or we're no longer accepting currency. Walmart, all of the self-checkout machines at Walmart, most all of them now have no currency in them. They're only for a card. You can't use currency, you can't receive currency. So, and this is happening all over, and I'm seeing reports everywhere. And here's the thing that I don't know, that worried isn't really the thing, because it's predictable. I'm not really worried, but here's the thing that has me paying a little bit more attention to this and maybe a few other things going on, is the fact that the media is not covering it. They're totally silent on this. I, at least, have not seen any reports from the media talking about this coin shortage, this cash shortage, and this push to be more cashless society. So that right there kind of tells me that there's probably something else going on than just, oh, sorry, a machine broke down, so we're short on some coins. It's something that we need to be aware of. Now, what is the ramifications of a cashless society? Well, first off, and this is really the biggest one in my opinion, is that they're able to know even more about you. They're able to track every purchase you make, because right now when you make a purchase with a debit card, they're able to monitor that. They're able to track that if they wish. So every purchase you ever make is now going to be, tracked and monitored. And here's the thing: when a cashless society happens, a lot of people says, well, then I just won't do it. It's not how it works. If and when that happens, the cash, if you want to just go out and start hoarding cash now and hoarding currency and think, well, I'll just use that, it won't be of any value. At some point in a cashless society, they completely devalue the paper and the coin to force you to go to digital currency. And so what I'm saying is, it won't be a less cash society, it will be a cashless society, meaning there just won't be any. Will not be any cash, and there won't be any cash allowed as a real currency. It won't be accepted as a currency. So it's going to play havoc in a way that I don't think most Americans are really aware of. Every transaction you make, every purchase you make, every bit of money you make is going to be recorded. It's going to be known. All the money that you have, you won't be able to have money, stashed away in a cookie jar in your house, or have a rainy day fund in your home. All of your money, because it's digital, will have to be in a bank where they can control it. They can, with a flip of a switch or a click of a button, your money is now, frozen. Your money is gone. Any slight investigation, it can happen. It happened to me a few years ago with a bank. I had switched banks and had a new account with them, and I had the account, it was less than a month, 2-3 weeks, and then all of a sudden my money was frozen and I couldn't get to it. And I called the bank, and it took a couple of times to try to figure out why it was frozen. They said that my account was under investigation for fraud, and that they had frozen all my funds. I'm like, what do you mean fraud? It's a brand new account. Well, come to find out, they had set up my account as a senior citizen, and as a senior citizen with the bank, you got certain benefits. Well, obviously I'm not a senior citizen, getting close, but not quite, and I'm 42. Anyways, And so because they had, set my account up as a senior's account for some reason, whoever set it up mistakenly clicked on that, and then my birth date showed that I wasn't a senior, someone in their security department flagged it that I was trying to commit some kind of fraud. Long story short is it was easily figured, they easily figured out what was going on, but it was almost 2 weeks before they did that. And during that time, my money was completely frozen in that bank. So there's a simple example of how your money can just be, gone, or at least frozen very, very easily. And this is what's going to happen, what people will be seeing happen with a cashless society. There won't be any, handing money to your kids anymore, or grandparents, handing a few dollars to your grandkids, birthday money, getting a little side job for a little extra money, your kids working down the street mowing yards or something. That will be gone because a cashless society means no currency. Everything will be digital. We will be able to be controlled a lot more. And there is this push. And you hear, I remember back when this pandemic was just in China mostly. China was reportedly destroying a lot of their currency. And there was a lot of talks at that time of how much of a carrier currency would be for this virus. Now, I haven't heard a whole lot being spoke of lately, but I could certainly see that also being a motive, or at least an excuse, for destroying money. Make no mistake, though, what we are in the middle of here in July of 2020, with all the many things, I think what we're seeing is just a accumulation of all these events that have been set in motion, and many of them accidental, but some of them possibly set in motion intently to cause a change. And that's where we're at. I mean, we've got the riots and the insurgency of Marxists and communists, and the loss of freedoms, and this plandemic going on. And there's many other things, all along the way, the defunding of police, and police officers just, up and quitting because they have no support in some of these cities, and then drastic increasing of crime rate in cities because of that, and just on and on and on. And we've got an election coming up that's in November, which will probably be the I don't know, probably the dirtiest election we've ever seen. And I think that regardless of the outcome, come November 4th, it's not going to be good. Because regardless of who wins, the other side, who knows what they're going to do. Anyway, saying all this, and this whole money currency thing has made me kind of realize that the stuff that we're seeing, and for those of you that follow with the United Nations, organizations like the World Economic Forum, or is it World Economic? I think that's what they're called. Anyways, these big globalist organizations, the Council on Foreign Relations, and a few others, they are calling for what in 2020 as the Great Reset. Okay? There's been this, and the news media hasn't covered it. I found one article. I searched on Google, and I found one article on Fox Business that talked about it. That people, like Al Gore, Bill Gates, these, big globalists, that is the term that they're using. And they believe that all the things that are happening and all the technology that we've come to in the last few years, that we are seeing this great reset of our society. And some of it they admit that they are doing, that they are trying to push this reset. And of course this reset means, a global economy, a brand new global economy, global governance, global control of the environment, the introduction of artificial intelligence, global health standards. I could go on and on. There's if you really dig into it, and it's not necessarily readily available, but if you do some searches on Google, you can find it. This is the kind of stuff that's happening. And I think most people are so blindsided because of the fear of the panic, the fear of the racial unrest, the hype of the election, of, you know, this guy's going to get it, and if he wins, the world's going to end. But if this guy gets it and he wins, the world's also going to end. You know, it's all a huge distraction. Doesn't mean that these things aren't real. It doesn't mean that the virus isn't real. It doesn't mean that the rioting isn't real. It doesn't mean that some of the people involved in the rioting and this push for Marxist communism, that they aren't truly trying to do that, because I believe that they are. But all this stuff is happening, and I believe in my heart that it's all happening as a distraction. I mean, each one of those events has a purpose, and it may be pushing us in a certain direction or accomplishing a certain goal, but overall, most of the things that we're seeing is a big distraction to keep ourselves busy focusing on these crazy events that's happening, and not focusing on the fact that the world, the global, you know, economy, and the global, the globe's leadership, world leaders, are pushing us into a new world order. I mean, that is definitely their objective, and I think that we're seeing things happening kind of in the background if you really pay attention, and you have to, because the media sure isn't going to tell you. We're seeing things happen, and so basically what we have to do is to be very vigilant. And I know that most of my listeners are. I have the best listeners of any YouTube channel. You know, the very best. I can't even do a good Trump impersonation. I know a guy over in another channel, Bear Independent, does a good one, and I sure don't. But I have the very best listeners on YouTube. But I'm telling you, folks, there is so much stuff going on, I can't keep up with it. I mean, I got a family, and I got a farm, and all kinds of stuff that I'm involved in. I don't have time to sit down and research this. But the thing is, what little bit of time that I do have, I find it so easily if you really start digging. So I don't know what to tell you of how to truly plan, other than just set yourself up in a position that you're as self-sufficient as possible. I know that in the end, Father in heaven is the one that wins. I know that we are on the winning side. I know the kind of the end of the story. I've read the end of the book. But it's getting to that point at the end of the book. And we're going to have to go through some tough times to get there. And I think that's what we're seeing. We are seeing those tough times getting to the end of the book. So you have to get yourself prayed up, you know, trained up, armed up, and just ready, because there's some evil forces out there every day that we face, and they are hell-bent on taking our rights away, taking our property away, controlling our minds, controlling our children. I believe that's why they do what they do. It's all for control. It's not for money. They have all the money. You know, these people have so much money you can't even, you know, wrap your head around it. It's not about money. It's about power and control. They want to control you and me. They want to control our minds, and that's what all this stuff is about. But anyways, start being aware of the cashless stuff. You know, you can invest in some gold and silver, I guess, but when things go digital, places aren't going to be accepting that either. Probably will be illegal. Look into the Great Reset. Do some internet searches on that and see what you come up with, and let me know, because there's some kind of crazy stuff going on out there, and a lot of it, when you dig into it, they just flat out admit to doing it, or at least having it as their plan. All right, folks. That's enough of my rambling today. I'm going to get me some water because my mouth is dry, and go drive some more steel into the ground. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.